From the Dunkin' Donuts Center here in Providence, Rhode Island, Marist and Providence ready to go here this afternoon. And a Marist team that's coming in with an 0-3 record in the middle of a really difficult road stretch that we'll talk about. Providence starting their first 4 games of the season here at home. They've already won the first 2. And the tip controlled ultimately by the Friars. That's Bryce Cotton. Coming off a great night, Tyler Harris continues to be red hot from the outside.
Look, and with the first possession, that was vintage Providence basketball. They want to play at that pace. The turnover, the early push, and the quick J.
Khalid Hart's a redshirt freshman. He's got the ball in his hands with Cotton picking him up. Harris starting a slightly larger lineup here, hoping to get some size inside, but also got to be able to take care of the basketball. That's Kadeem Batts coming off a big game here on Wednesday night. The little fadeaway a little bit too short, and Kemp down with the rebound for the Red Foxes. Marist off a loss at St. Joseph's on Wednesday night, and a big one at that. 81-62 the final in that game. They had a slow start in that game in Philadelphia. Trailed 12-0 out of the shoot and never really got back into it.
In talking to Jeff Bauer from Marist at practice today, he wanted to do just what they did this last possession. Take their time if they don't have an early basket and use some of the clock. Providence, conversely, they want to play at a totally different pace.
They'd love to be able to push the pace at any chance they can, because that's where they're best, especially with that guy with the ball in his hands. That's Batts from 18. Everything but the bottom of the net. A rebound for Prinsloo. Providence got ice cold in the second half of their game against Brown here the other night. Never really found a shooting touch. They came very close to letting that game get away. Hard up and under. Got it. Khalid Hart started his first college game a couple of weeks back at Stony Brook. Sat out last season with a knee injury, but they like him out of Newark, Delaware. Again, it's Harris. And great job on the hustle side for Batts to keep the rebound alive and get a fresh shot clock.
And that's what drives you crazy from a coaching standpoint if you're Jeff Bauer. You don't want to give up too many offensive boards. When the shots go up, you got to turn and put a body on your man.
Henton, way too strong. And the ball finally corralled by Jay Bowie. Now here we go, open floor. 1-on-3 for Hart.
Gotta love that push by Hart. The floor was spread. There was a scoring opportunity. Dipped his shoulder, got right in the pocket for the easy layup. He's
got all 4 of the points for Marist to open the ball game.
Rebound!
Batts just got it inside the top of the circle. He hit a few like that the other night. Good touch for the big man from the outside, who's averaging 13.5 a game. Adam Kemp tried a little give and go. The pass right at the ankles. It's a held ball. Possession goes back the other way. Starters for Marist, we told you about Hart. Got to keep an eye on is Lewis, the junior, averaging better than 17 points per game for this Marist team. Adam Kemp, the rebounding leader. Jay Bowie distributes the ball for a team that is, as we said, 0-3 to start out their season. Only one of those games at home. Cotton, wow. Talk about creating your own shot. Wouldn't fall, though, and another rebound for Kemp. That's Lewis, and that's what he does best.
Perfect. Again, you know, Bauer, Coach Jeff Bauer went over today in practice. He said, look, on missed baskets and turnovers, we want to go. We don't want to walk the ball up the floor. But if their transition defense is solid, that's when we want to slow down and make a lot of passes. And they've gotten their buckets in terms of getting out in transition so far.
Ed Cooley's starting lineup has Josh Fortune in the front court, on with Henton, who is capable of a double-double at any time. Marist shifts back now into a zone look for the first time here in these opening 4 minutes. Batts on the turnaround, and again that soft touch from the big man. It's a good battle inside between these two, and Kemp a little short with the jump hook from the left side. In transition, Cotton nails it to the top.
Whenever you come down in transition and Cotton has the ball and you're defending the big that's setting the screen, you've got to step up. You can't go under those ball screens because he's letting it fly quickly.
That's something he did not have going the other night, and that's a shooter's mentality. Forget about the other night. Turn the page.
Yeah, he certainly has that shooter's mentality. You know, it's tough for him. He had to make the transition from playing that off-guard position to the point.
Speaking of transition, 5 points now for Cotton and a 7-0 run for Providence. Lewis, nice take to the hoop, but couldn't get it to fall. A back and forth kind of game right now that favors the Friars. Way outside, hitting from 3, and Jeff Bauer, even though he knows he has a timeout coming at the next whistle, can't wait because his team is on the wrong side of a 10-0 run.
Well, you're starting to see the momentum pick up for Providence. Missed baskets, they're getting out in transition, they're pushing it. When Cotton has the ball, you really got to pick him up early. You see him here in transition, he gets out with the flush.
The Volkswagen Sign Then Drive sales event is back, which means it's never been easier to get a new Passat. Awarded J.D. Power's most appealing midsize car 2 years in a row. And right now, you can drive one home for practically just your signature. Get zero due-it signing, zero down, zero deposit, and zero first month's payment on any new 2014 Volkswagen. Hurry, this offer ends December 2nd. For details, visit VWDealer.com today.
Ed Cooley's team rejuvenated after a sluggish effort in the second half here on Wednesday night. They hit both of their 3-point shots, and they're on a 10-0 run right now to open up an 8-point lead. In that game the other night, they led by 17 at one time in the first half, 16 with 18 minutes to go.
You know, that's the hardest thing as a coach, to get your guys to maintain that certain level of energy, that certain level of intensity. Ed Cooley got those guys in practice. He definitely got their attention after that.
Good ball movement, and it's going to be a held ball, which will be kept by Marist when we come back. Time out on the floor. The Red Fox is trying to come up with some way to combat this Friars team. The lead is 8 for Providence over Marist. Just a little bit under 6 minutes in here in Providence. Providence, of course, part of the Big East, remain part of the Big East in the new conference. Bryce Cotton leading the way in scoring, Hinton the leading rebounder. But Cotton's the guy who makes this engine go.
He really does, and he does it in a lot of different ways. Right there, you see he comes off the drag screen in transition, pulls up. You can't go under the screens. Here, there's a turnover, and once the ball gets turned over, your transition defense has to be intact because he's blowing out and looking to go one place, and that's to the rack. He's a tough guard because he's always hunting, especially in the half court, for scoring opportunity. He's not looking to run the offense. He's looking to score first, then run the offense.
He among his teammates, and maybe more so than his teammates, hoping that at some point they get Chris Dunn back to start running the point again and let Cotton get back in his area of expertise.
Which is getting buckets and lots of them.
Off the miss, here he comes. And Providence gets the whistle from the bench from Ed Cooley to slow it down and run the offense. Cotton trying to step around at the handoff, nothing there. Shot clock down under 10. Harris with the time clock running out, gets his own follow.
Again, another offensive putback by Providence.
That's Lawrence just checked in at the timeout, and now Hart diving down the lane. Basically one and done for Marist, and Cotton, like an NFL wide receiver, with the over-the-shoulder catch, and easy too.
Providence's reaction time from turnovers and rebounds is incredible. As soon as they receive the ball, they're out. Marist is going to have to make an adjustment in terms of getting back in their transition defense, because so far Providence has 8 points all in transition.
That's Kemp. and they are missing continually from in close. It's going to stay the same way as it last touched Providence before going out of bounds.
Take a look. The shot goes up. As soon as they get the rebound, Cotton's reaction time is incredible. He's out, and the Providence ball players, they know to look for Cotton first. If Cotton's not there, then they look for Fontaine. But Marist is going to have to make that adjustment, or they're going to get run out of this gym early.
14-0 run for the Friars right now. That's given them this 12-point lead. Kemp just battling for position and down low. And that is going to be a foul call on DeRocha.
Excellent possession, I thought, that time by Marist. They were patient. Kemp worked his tail off to get great position, and they found him. A lot of times the bigs have their guy on their back, and it takes the guards forever to get it in there. That time they went to him and he should foul.
First on DeRocha. With 9 points and 8 boards here in the game against Brown the other night. Had a big first half. Wow. Fortune going up the ladder for the steal, but Cotton couldn't keep his feet. Now Hart knifes it inside, and that's going to be number 2 on DeRocha. Hart a little shaken up on the play. Might have got hit in the eye. Yep.
Take a look, yeah. That time I thought DeRocha bailed out. He should have slid his feet just a bit and taken it in the chest. He reached and got him right across their forehead.
Khalid Hart, member of 3 consecutive state championship teams at the Sanford School in Delaware.
It's been a huge plus getting him back, especially after that injury last year. He's a redshirt freshman this year, and just his explosiveness, his ability to create his own shot. Marist has struggled scoring at times this year. He's a huge plus having him back in the fold because he can get you some easy baskets when the shot clock winds down.
Khalid Hart, an opportunity to shoot 2. And he'll have one more try. I think he's waving to the bench. I think he knows he's got to come out.
Yeah, and plus I think he's a little winded. He wants to blow as well.
Isaiah Morton will be checking in for him after the free throw, if he makes it. So that breaks the string of a 14-0 run. Hart will take a seat as Morton comes on to replace him. Got himself a screen and a throw back to Batts. That's his shot, but he passed it up. Maybe a better look.
Good patience, good patience. As you said, Batts thought he could have taken it. You know, it was early in the shot clock, didn't go for it. Made a few more passes and got an even better look.
They're playing with good discipline. Something that they kind of lacked in the second half here the other night. Lewis going to work, went right around Kafani, but couldn't get the basket to fall. An offensive rebound. There's been few and far between here in these opening minutes for Marist. That's Lewis, and he did not beat the shot clock. A shot clock violation and the 5th turnover for Marist. Down at the other end, Providence looking very efficient offensively in the opening 8 minutes. Just over 8 minutes into this ball game here today at the Dunk, and Jeff Bauer coming back home again in his second tour of duty with Marist after a period of time, a glory time really for the Red Foxes. He went off and spent an awful lot of time in the NBA.
World of experience, you know, good hire, I think, by Marist. And speaking with him today at practice, he said, you know what? He said, these are my guys. He said, I've had an excellent time. I've just thoroughly enjoyed myself getting these guys to the point that they're at so far. And he thinks that the future is bright for this ball club. He said, you know, you have to have a certain amount of patience, especially when you have a new voice coming in. He said his guys, he thinks, even though their record doesn't reflect it right now, he says his guys have responded tremendously well.
Does that level of experience in the NBA translate back down, however, to this level?
It certainly does. Experience is experience. And what it does is a lot of the little things that pop up that you don't always expect. Once you've had a lot of experience in the resume that he has, you're prepared for just about everything. There's nothing you haven't seen.
Cotton got blocked on the way in, but came up with a loose ball. And that's going to be a held ball. Providence will keep it.
Nice little backdoor cut by Bryce Cotton. The help comes over and in the right place at the right time.
Hatton drains another, his second three-pointer here in the first half. 6 points for LaDontae Hatton, the junior out of Lansing, Michigan, averaging a double-double in the first 2 games. And Curry dragged the pivot foot.
Good defensive energy by Providence. Right now, if you're Providence, you're looking and searching for a certain level of consistency. They started the season, competitive game against Boston College. A little bit of a letdown in terms of their focus and their intensity level against Brown, and they're trying to get it back right here against Marist.
As we said, they're playing without their point guard, Chris Dunn. They've got a pair of freshman players, at least one of whom they expect to have a big impact for this team that are sitting out of suspension right now. Bats inside is called for traveling.
The pair that are sitting out, they can play. They can really, really, really play. They're not just a few freshmen that are coming in. Once they're eligible and once they hit the floor, they're going to make a huge, huge impact. But Chris Dunn right now, I think, is the biggest Achilles heel. They have to get him back, especially right before the Big East, if they want to get and make the kind of run that they can make, because you want to free Cotton up so he can do what he does best.
Chris Dunn is on the Cousy Award watch list. That's for the best point guards. That gives you an idea of what they need him for. Fortune got away with a push and got himself a rebound, and now you've got contact and a foul call coming on T.J. Curry for Marist.
Providence has a clear agenda on misses and turnovers. Let's go. They're getting out. The wings are running. The bigs are running. The shot goes up. You see here. And they're gone. They're gone. They've scored 10 points tonight alone so far, just on getting out in transition, just on the quick push.
So like you said, to combat that, you got to get back, which means you're giving up offensive rebounding, I should say. But you can't stop that in the middle. It's not really going to matter that much.
He bats on fire. They've had no answer for him. He's digging in deep. They have to do a much better job, that's Marist, at pushing him out of the sweet spot. You can't let bats get that close to the basket.
Providence dropping back into a 2-3 zone. We saw this a couple of times in the first half on Wednesday night. Harris with good ball movement, but Lewis put it on the floor. And that's going to be traveling. Providence in the middle of a 21-1 run right now, and Ed Cooley still doesn't see exactly what he wants to see. But then again, is any coach ever really happy?
You're not. That time he's a little frustrated with Harris. He wanted Harris to give it up to a guard and then have Harris fill a lane. But no, you're searching, because what happens, it's too early in the season to get complacent. You're searching for a certain level of consistency. When you're looking at Ed Cooley, he knows the Big East is coming. So he's prepping mentally for what's going to come down the road.
They got a couple of tough ones coming before the Big East ever gets started for them, including a game against #1 Kentucky. Fortune from another county misses. Now you got a whistle on the rebound. It's going back the other way with a foul call coming on Lee Goldsboro.
If you're Marist right now, you don't look at the score. You just try to chip away at it. You want to get good, solid offensive possessions with good, solid shot attempts at this point. I really think they need to go back inside a little bit more to Adam Kemp. He's been having the advantage when they've given him touches down there. There they go.
And Kemp can't get it to fall, but got shoved.
Good things happen when you go inside. Once somebody as huge as Kemp is, once he catches it that close to the basket, it's going to be 2 points or it's going to be a foul. Good duck in. They got him right on the head as he went up for the left-hand layup. Marist is coming down, I think, taking too many jump shots. They need to let it go inside to Kemp. If Kemp doesn't have the look, he'll be patient enough to throw it back out.
So here's Adam Kemp now, preseason All-MAC second-teamer. The senior out of Charlotte, New York. He was third-team All-MAC last year. Had himself a heck of a game at Iona on February 7th. 29 points, 16 boards, and 7 blocks. The first player in all of Division I to do that since Riders' Jason Thompson did it back in 2007.
And if you're Marist, you got to go to him a little more. You know, anyone that size, I mean, he's a huge specimen. You know, that's a big kid. You've got to let him touch the ball. He's smart enough on the interior. If he doesn't have the look, he'll throw it back out. But you need to force feed him, because if he catches it that close, you got to foul him.
Those are not good numbers right there. 3 field goals, and they've missed on their last 8 tries, hence the 17-point deficit. That's Henton. He can play inside and out. That's the end.
He's so versatile. We see him hit a 3. That time he goes to the block, just uses his strength and overpowers Marist.
A couple years ago, he was on the Big East All-Rookie team. You think he could be part of somebody collecting hardware when all is said and done in New York in March. And now transition again off the 9th straight miss for the Red Foxes. Henton again. Wow, you can't get hotter.
Nice little pick and pop action. He's feeling it. But credit Providence for realizing he has a hot hand going in there, getting him his touches.
He's got 10 of their 29 points. Long range, and I mean long range. That's not going to go, and it's Henton again right in the middle of it. Cotton, perfect spot, gets fouled from beyond the arc. But Bryce Cotton's going to get himself 3 free throws when we come back. Providence team going to the sideline in the middle of a major run. A lot of it keyed by junior LaDante Henton, playing inside and out. Right now, this Providence team in the middle of a 23-4 run. They had a chance to stretch that right here. LaDante Henton has been right in the middle of it, both inside and out, and also on the defensive side.
As a team, Providence, they built this lead based on the pressure and intensity level from the defensive standpoint. Today, during shoot-around, Ed Cooley went over key plays that Marist loved to run, and you see that his team clearly paid attention because they're executing their rotations perfectly. Whenever you think Marist has an open look, the Providence guys are right there on the catch.
One of the things Providence has done exceptionally well in the early season is shoot free throws, as Cotton has 3 of them coming here. They are now, with those 2 makes, 49 for 57 as a team.
And that's a huge plus, especially when you play at the pace that they like to play. You have guards that like to penetrate, and you have a guy like Batts on the interior that can generate fouls as well. So knocking down those free throws is a huge boost, especially as you get later into the second half of ball games.
It's going to be Ted Brancroft coming into the ball game now for Providence. The run now just continues right now at 28-2. No field goals in better than 9 minutes for the Red Foxes.
And that's been an Achilles heel for Marist all season. On the year, they're only shooting 33% from the floor. So they've got to find ways to generate points. And I think going on the interior to some of their bigs would help.
A lot of contact, no call, a pair of missed shots for Marist. They will get the basketball back. Game like this one, you're in a lot of danger with a run like this of getting to a point where you can never get back in this game.
Yeah, and that's if you're Bauer, you've got to be concerned about that. But if you're Marist, just take your time, try to chip away at it, work on executing your half-court sets, and try to get a good look each possession.
Curry followed his own shot nicely in a fresh shot clock. And another traveling violation on Curry. 8 turnovers for Marist.
Jeff Bauer, you see him working the sidelines right there. He's just trying to find 5 guys that can get a solid shot attempt right now on the offensive end. And that's hard. You see him searching. He's playing a lot of guys, just trying to find a group that clicks and forms some type of rhythm out there on the floor.
That's Khalid Hart coming back into the ball game. He left earlier after getting a shot in the eye. 62% for Providence here in this first half. Bats, man up. Got it.
He's been on the roll. He's been on a complete roll. What Marist has to do a much better job at making it difficult for him to catch it, because he's in a good rhythm down there on the interior. So you got to find some kind of way to knock him off his kilter.
And Hart got it taken away. Fortune leaving behind, and an exclamation point from Tyler Harris. My goodness. The run is 32-2. Providence can afford to just kind of sit back in this 2-3, not commit fouls, and make another defensive play.
Providence has done a good job at mixing their defenses, as you just touched on. Some man-to-man, some zone, and that has been a problem for Marist, too, at times, in terms of recognizing exactly what Providence is doing to him defensively.
Plus, Providence able to do what they're doing with Cotton on the bench right now, getting a little relaxation time as the big man steps out and bats nails a three. And it's timeout time for Jeff Bauer. What an incredible run this has been. 35-2 right now for Providence.
Seems like everything Providence has done defensively as well as offensively has worked. You see right there, they get the turnover, they get out in transition and get an easy bucket. And that's been how their bread has been buttered. Here you see a half-court set, nice little pick and pop. Bats nails the three.
Still some fire going on in that huddle.
Yeah, no doubt. And Ed Cooley, he's going to coach until the final buzzer goes off. But with Chris Dunn going down with the shoulder injury, the Friars starting point guard, it's enabled Ed Cooley to put some different guys at that position. And right now you have Fortune. He's talking to him right now, trying to get him going. He's playing the point guard position. Cotton, he's not a real point guard. But once they get that young man right there back, if you think things are looking good right now for Providence, they'll be clicking on all cylinders.
There's a lot of people that think that once he is back, if indeed he comes back into that backcourt, that it's going to be one of the best in the Big East.
Well, you'll have experience and you have good size. Fortune has length. He has length. Cotton has length.
Around 12 minutes now since Marist last hit a field goal. And Harris, good body control, got it up over the top. 8 points now for Tyler Harris. You don't see a lot of 37-2 runs. And Kemp finally breaks the spell with a chance at a three-point play.
I can't say it enough. You got to get Kemp more touches. Good things have happened in this game when he's gotten the ball, and Providence has had difficulty, quite frankly, with his size. You got to give him more touches to try to chip away at this lead, and also to get Providence in a little bit of foul trouble.
Right now, you'll take the points any way you can get them.
Any single way you can get them.
And Adam Kemp cashes in on the three-point play. As we said, that breaks the spell, at least briefly. But the deficit remains 30 right now. Cotton on the run. Can't get it. Got his own rebound. That's good energy with a 30-point lead.
Oh, it's perfect. And if you're Ed Cooley, that's exactly what you want. You don't want to let up. There's only one way to play, and that's hard.
Hatton just left that a little short. He was lined up for it. And now Hart in transition the other way. Can't hit high off the glass. A lot of ball movement, but the turnover for the Friars. Their fourth here in the first half. It'll whistle down at the other end. No timeout on the floor, and if you're wearing a Friars jersey, shirt, or hat, you've got a lot to smile about in this first half. Now to take a look at our DirecTV game summary. When you got a 30-point advantage, there's quite a bit to talk about, at least from the Providence side.
No doubt. Well, if you're Providence, you're saying keep doing what you're doing. Our defensive intensity is good. Our reaction once we get steals are good. If you're Marist, you want to get a solid look at the basket. Right now you have 10 turnovers and only 11 points. So you would rather get a good look but miss the shot than get a turnover and get an easy basket going the other end.
Big East basketball comes to Fox Sports 1 tomorrow as Towson takes on the Villanova Wildcats. And on Monday, Vermont battles the East Providence Friars. Coverage begins tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern, and Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1. So the inbound for Marist, 3:45 to go in the half. How important is it that you get a couple of baskets strung together, get a little bit of momentum back going into the locker room at halftime?
And from a coaching standpoint, it's huge because you want to have something to point to that went well. And that's the positive thing is going inside, I think, to Kemp. Good things have happened so far. As Providence went back into a 2-3 zone, Kemp is wide open on the interior.
Friars can afford to take a little bit of the air out of the ball. We said the other night they had a 17-point lead in the first half and a 16-point lead in the second. It's a little bit different animal. And a pair of misses, one from in close, one from three-point range. That's good hustle down on the floor. Held ball, possession arrow points the same way. I can imagine at one point or other in your career being around as much basketball as you have, you've been in a situation like this on the wrong side of a big score. What do you do?
It's tough. From a playing standpoint, you start not to hear the coach. From a coaching standpoint, you're reaching for straws, trying to figure out what do you do to wake your guys up. And it's a difficult situation, but if you're Marist, you can't get frustrated because there's too much time left in this game and anything can happen. But for that to happen, your turnovers can't match your points scored. And right now, they're teetering right on that level. So they have to take care of the ball and try to get solid shots.
Had a little bit of a wet spot on the floor, and everybody did their part. Bryce Cotton brought a towel over from the bench. Jeff Anderson, the lead official, made sure that he was there. Everybody pitching in.
I remember when I played, my coach never allowed the official to wipe up a wet spot. He made us do it, nice. Regardless.
I like that.
You got to try to get a brownie point any way you can.
Canton missed on a cookie inside, got the ball back though, and got fouled. Lynn Hart called for the personal. Let's get the impression watching LaDontae Hinton that you're about to see another big step forward this year for the former Michigan Class A Player of the Year. We said he's got the range from outside. He can play along the inside. He's got a tremendous motor.
He's a matchup problem because he's a really tough guy and he's crafty when you put him on the interior. But then he's skilled enough when he pops out, he can knock down the jump shots. He's the toughest guy in this Providence ball club. The best offensive player, usually he's going to guard, whether it's on the interior, whether it's on the perimeter. He can do a lot of different things. He's a guy, if you're walking down the dark alley, you want him to go with you.
You want him with you.
And you need no one else. He's that guy.
12 points here in the first half. The lead sitting at an incredible 32 points. There's the inside game again, and once again they come up a bit short. Kemp showing good basketball IQ. Find the cutter, and Jay Bowie's going to go to the free throw line.
They hit Kemp right at the elbow, and he turns and makes a sweet pass on the baseline. And again, good things happen when Kemp touches the ball.
Jay Bowie, 11 for 15 so far this year from the free throw line for the left-hander. He's also a guy I would say somewhat disproportionate. Jay Bowie is 6'5", senior out of Tampa. Wears a size 16 shoe. Ooh, 16.
It's big dogs. Big dogs.
Whatever he's got, it's stabilizing him pretty well at the free throw line this year. Coming up on 2 minutes now left here to go in this first half. That's Cotton from 19. 12 points in the first half now for Bryce Cotton. those inside touches you were talking about. And Kemp just made his own space through an elbow.
It's a simple ball game. When you have a guy that size on the interior, let him touch it and let him see what, and just see what happens. Providence has had no answer for Kemp so far in this game.
Well, he's got 25 pounds on Kafani, and you saw it right there. Henton left it short. Kafani fighting for the rebound, but the littlest guy on the floor comes out of the pack with it. Morton ahead, and Lewis stripped to the basketball. A little out of control. And Cotton inadvertently starts the break the other way. Lewis wanted a foul call, he didn't get. And now Cotton, whoa! Highlight film stuff. (47-15). Astounding, really, when you realize that Marquette scored 35 points in an entire game today.
I'd say in that game, it must have been excellent defense or awful offense.
Or maybe both. A quick two for Kemp and a quick timeout for Ed Cooley. A use it or lose it timeout. 19 seconds left here to go in the half.
If you didn't think Cotton had legs, take a look at that. He's listed at 6'1". I think he's closer to 5'11".
Thick socks.
Yeah, thick socks, thick soled shoes, some orthotics.
What he's got is 14 points and 5 assists here in this first half, looking a lot more like the player who played in the opener right here against BC.
And if you're wondering why Ed Cooley calls a timeout with 19 seconds left, right now you want to work on some things that you go over in practice. Late in the clock, 19 seconds left. Let's see if he can draw something up. Let's see if his kids are locked in and focused enough to execute.
Talking to Ed on Wednesday night before the game, he's excited about where his team is. This Marist team, as we said, they're rebuilding in a lot of different ways.
They are, and Jeff Bauer made an interesting comment to me today. He said, you know what? He said, I've been pretty pleased with our guys' half-court defense. He said, once we are in a situation where our defense is set, there are some positives. He said, I think our guys' attention span is good. I think their effort is good. It's just going to take some time and a few more players for us to get over the hump.
Saw the score with Marquette getting their second longest home win streak in the nation broken today by Ohio State. The ball came from behind, beat Wright State. And Providence got 2 tries. That one doesn't count. And that's going to bring us to the end of the first half. Not a lot of things went right for Jeff Bauer's team in that first half. After an early 6-4 lead, the roof caved in here at the Dunk. And Providence goes to the locker room at halftime sitting on top of a 30-point advantage. Good job offensively by the Friars. Good job defensively as well. And they lead it 47-17. We'll be back with more at halftime coming your way in just a moment.
Big East basketball is clearly the best conference in all of America.
Big East basketball is as good as it gets.
Big East basketball is physical. It's relentless.
No nights off, tough, physical, defensive basketball.
It's just a battle. Your body's sore after every game. You got to get up next 2 nights and just play your best.
It's into Arcidiacono, fires a 3. He's got it!
You can't take a day off in the Big East.
People take Big East basketball very seriously.
It's one for the ages!
Butler, Xavier, and Creighton, the new members of the Big East, are a perfect fit for this conference.
With the new institutions that are coming into this conference, they're programs, they're not just good teams.
We're tremendously excited to be a part of one of the best basketball conferences in America.
I think the biggest challenge for us is to see that type of competition, that length, that athleticism, night in and night out.
Big East basketball is excitement, exhilarating, toughness, passion, not to mention for winners.
Jamil Wilson, left side, good!
Winning the Big East championship would mean everything to me. That's what you dream about. Cutting down the nets right there in the world's most famous arena.
Winning the Big East championship would mean Seton Hall basketball is back to where it was.
Look at this! Oh my goodness, lingerie!
If you're a basketball junkie, the Big East is where you want to be.
Unbelievable! Does it get any better?
It's no frills, no nonsense, love of the game, the soul of the game.
And that Big East dominance, that Big East soul on display in the first half. A 30-point lead for the Providence Friars. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Friars by 30 here at halftime. And you take a look back at that first half of play. Clearly a lot of things were going right, especially from the big guns.
It certainly was, and their upperclassmen got them going early. You see here in transition, Cotton gets him going with the drag screen, pull-up jump shot. Then he even got out in transition and scored for him. Then after he got himself going, they decided, you know what, let's get Bats going. Bats you see right there on the pick and pop, then right here on the dunk in with the nice left-hand jump hook. And then as time progressed, Hinton said, you know what, I want to come to the party a little bit. He went to work on the block. Then a few seconds later, a little pick and pop action, he knocks down the three. All of the upperclassmen, I thought, for Providence, they set the tone in a game like this, and then Marist had no chance of coming back.
We'll find out what kind of chance they've got in the second half when second half action comes back your way in just a moment. Kind of an exclamation point for that first half for Providence, a 30-point lead as we get set to begin second half action. And looking back at that first half, Providence shooting a blistering 56% from the floor. 14 points off turnovers. That transition game was really working.
It was, and it got to working because of the intensity level that Providence brought right from the start on the defensive end.
So now, it doesn't sound like it is an issue. It doesn't sound like a concern or something that you've got to be concerned about if you're a head coach. But how do you maintain that level of intensity when you're sitting on a 30-point lead with 20 minutes to go?
What you do if you're Ed Cooley, you remind them of mistakes that they've made in previous games. The last game against Brown, they got up early. They let off the pedal a little bit. Then they found themselves in a dogfight. As a coach, you never relax. You're always striving for a certain level of excellence. Right now, Cooley told his guys at halftime, the score's 0-0. We're going to judge you guys by how you come out this start of this second half and see if you bring the same mental focus offensively, the same mental focus and intensity level on the defensive end. And it's tough. As a player, I've been on both sides. You know, where things just don't seem to be going right offensively for you. From a coaching standpoint, you know, you've gotten up big and you had letdowns with your ball club, so you're never satisfied on either side of the ball.
Providence has had tremendous success in this building. If they hang on to this one today, it would be a 29th straight non-conference win at home. Bats picking right up where he left off in the first half.
A nice pick and pop action. We saw Bats score off that same play in the first half, as well as Hinton. That play seems to be working very well for Providence.
Dean Bats was the Big East most improved player last year, actually tied with Michael Carter-Williams, who's already making a name for himself in the NBA right now with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Oh, he's gotten off to a huge way to start the NBA season.
Hatton, a strong take to the hole, and he's going to earn a trip to the free throw line.
You see Hinton catches it on the wing, doesn't pull up for the jump shot, goes all the way in and puts the official in a situation where he has to make a call. And that's what you're looking for if you're Ed Cooley. Are our guys being aggressive? Are they still having the same intensity? And that drive by Hinton showed that they're still locked in and still focused, because he could have taken the early jump shot.
Pristine free throw shooting continues for this team. Now 53 for 61 on the season. And Hinton drains a pair, and the lead continues to grow. Hey, talk about when a team has doubled up another team. They've tripled up Marist at this point. Kemp got good position inside. Help arrived, though, and Hinton just picked his pocket. That's Fortune. Deep three ball. Got it.
good possession, I thought, that time by Cotton, because you saw him intentionally trying to set up Fortune. There's a drag screen at the top of the key. He usually turns the corner or pulls up himself, but he drew the attention of the defense and flipped it back for Fortune.
That's hard. Got too far underneath the rim. Kemp the offensive rebound, and Henton fouled him on the way back up.
Watch Cotton right here. Good solid defense as a whole by Providence. They double down on the post. They get out in transition. You see, watch the drag screen come here in transition by Bat. And then you see Cotton turn the corner and then flick it back to Fortune for a wide open three. Well, Cotton usually looks to be the aggressor that time, but he said, you know what, let me get my buddy Fortune an open jump shot to get him going.
Cotton, as we said, first team All Big East last year. They expect that he will be the same again this year, part of the preseason team.
And give credit, Cotton. You know, you start the season thinking you're going to play one position. Someone goes down, and coach says, you know what? I want you now to be our point guard. And that is not his natural instinct. His natural instinct is to do just that. Hunt and go after buckets.
It is 56-17. 19. Tough start to this season for Marist, and a lot of time on the road, and what they got waiting for them now is a trip to the Virgin Islands to be part of the Paradise Jam. Their next game is going to be down there against Maryland next Friday.
Nice little road trip for the guys. Take them, let them get a little bit of sun.
Working inside. Cotton drew the contact on the way to the hoop. He'll go to the line. This Providence team is also going to the Virgin Islands.
Nice little brush screen. Excellent one-on-one move by Cotton. And he's such a tough guard because he's herky-jerky. He makes good scoring decisions. You know, he doesn't force it on the interior when he doesn't have to. He just has a natural knack for scoring the basketball. You know, he wasn't heavily recruited coming out of high school at all. You know, he committed to Providence shortly before the start of the school year. He was headed to a junior college.
Like Labor Day.
Yeah.
That's how shortly before the school year.
Exactly. So, you know, you love to see success stories like that. And sometimes in this recruiting process, to be quite frank, you just miss. And a lot of people missed on this young man. You go from not being recruited to being the lead scorer in the Big East, arguably the best conference in the country.
Dribbled right off the foot. Cotton out ahead of the pack. And that's frustration on the part of Lewis. He did go up after the ball, and Cotton realized he was not trying to hurt him. Let's get to know Bryce Cotton. 3 things you need to know about him. I told you about when he committed. Left off this season's wooden watch list. A very quiet leader. In fact, in the game against BC, his head coach Ed Cooley said, the guy who doesn't talk a whole lot stepped up and said, look, coach, it's coming down the wire, down the stretch. We're going to overtime. I'm not going to let you lose this game.
You would rather have that kind of guy as opposed to having a rah-rah guy that can't get things done. Cotton, you know, not a man of many words, but when it's time to score, when it's time to lead your ball club, he's been there.
This is an astounding 41-point lead right now for Providence.
And this has been good experience for Cotton, especially with Dunn going down, for him to run a ball club, because if he has any aspirations of playing at the next level, which I'm sure he does, he's got to be able to run a ball club.
Peter Prinsloo high off the glass. Take some time, you run your sets. In this case, you draw a foul. Dave Bowie called for the personal. Team's 4th foul. It's his first. Cotton had a hand in his face. Bats tried to get the save. The ball last touched Josh Fortune before going out. They have struggled to try to get it inside all second half, and Hart finally gets one to fall from about 12 feet. He's got 7. That's Harris from three-point range.
Harris, when I look at this ball club, he's that X-factor kind of guy. If Harris can lock in mentally and buy into some of the things that Providence is doing defensively as well as offensively, he takes them to the next level because he can score the basketball, he has length, and he has solid athleticism. He has to bring the mental focus, I think, every single night to help Providence go from a solid ball club to a very, very good ball club.
Hart floating in the lane. He's got back-to-back buckets. He just went right by Hart. How about that?
The problem with that play is no defensive help came. Someone has to rotate. If your man gets beat, you have to know help is there. And the secondary line of defense from Marist just didn't seem to come.
That's somebody who's been very quiet today. Their leading scorer, Lewis, who fires an air ball from the corner.
Well, Marist has gone totally away from the success that they did have offensively at the end of the first half. And that was thrown in on the interior to Adam Kemp. Kemp hadn't had 3 touches. They haven't gone through him. A lot of the action has come from the guards. They need to go back inside to Kemp.
What a great look. Who says he's not a point guard? 10 assists on the night for Bryce Cotton. That is a new career high for him. And Marist, even though they had a timeout coming, couldn't wait anymore.
Watch this good look by Cotton. Nice penetration, nice kick, hands ready by him, good finish.
Well, Bryce Cotton had himself a heck of an opener against BC, and after being the Big East Men's Player of the Week, looking pretty good here this afternoon.
Well, he hit his stride, and he did it early. You see him coming off the drag screen at the top of the key, knocking down the open jump shot. He's gotten out in transition. At times, he's even set up his other guys on the ball club. So he's done a little bit of everything tonight. And you look for that from your leader. He's the senior. He's the leading scorer in this league. He's the one that makes this engine go. And if you're Ed Cooley, you're happy with his consistency that he's shown all year. Not just scoring the ball, but getting his teammates involved when he had to also.
That was just a fantastic pass for a guy who's known for his scoring. One of 5 Providence Friars to lead the Big East in scoring. Marshawn Brooks, the most recent to do it back in 2011. He makes his living in the NBA now. And how about the numbers from Eric Murdoch back in '91? 27 points a game.
I played against Eric when I was at Georgetown, and if you look at Bryce Cotton, he's kind of Eric Murdoch-ish. Just a little bit. Eric's a little bit taller, a little bit stronger build, but they played a similar role for their respective ball clubs.
This is good news for Providence. You got a game again on Monday before making the trip down to the Virgin Islands. You got a chance to rest some people here in the second half. And also to get some guys more minutes on the floor than they may have gotten otherwise.
And you get to put your guys in different situations. A guy, you know, like Fortune, he's going to play a little point guard. Guys like you touched on that don't usually get a lot of minutes, they're going to play.
Big time lead for the home team. 14 minutes and change to go. 67-25 Providence on top. When we were kids, it was pick and roll. Now it's pick and pop.
Take a look at this play right here. This has been their bread and butter play. Harris hits the wing, cuts through. Cotton comes up, emptying out that backside. Nice little brush screen by Batts. Pops to the corner, nails it. There's no help because the backside has been emptied out. There's no one to rotate, and they've been knocking that play down all night long.
Helps when you got a big guy at 6'9" who has the range and the soft touch that Kadeem Batts has.
Batts has been the pop guy as well as Hinton. And both of those guys you have to worry about on the interior as well as hitting that mid-range jump shot.
Providence gets an opportunity to work a little bit more on their 2-3 zone. And Khalid Hart, who's having himself a fine little run here in the second half, nails a 3. It's Fortune on the point right now with Cotton taking his seat. Finding his own shot. And up over the back for the rebound is Adam Kemp.
Well, it's not the worst thing in the world. You know, with injury comes an opportunity for some guys. And right now, because, you know, of injuries, because of Chris Dunn going down, it shifts everything. Now you're going to see a guy like Fortune, who usually doesn't play a lot of one, get that opportunity.
Kenton's got a pretty shot for a guy his size. Quickly back down the other way, and just a lost day so far for Siobhan Lewis. It's a fine player, big-time scorer, and he just can't get going at all today. Inside, fight for the loose ball is won by Bowie. Bowie down the lane, couldn't control. Shot clock did not reset. How about that from Lewis?
Good job. He saw the opening, attacked it strong. Nice finish by Lewis.
We said he averages over 17. He's now got 4 here this afternoon.
Well, credit Providence for locking in and understanding the scouting report, knowing that he's their main go-to guy. And if they can give him a rough way to go, that Marist would have a tough time tonight.
This gives you a little bit of the idea, though, of what he's capable of doing.
Exactly. Nice drive, nice slash. Used his body to ward off the Providence defender coming over. Great finish.
Marist, we talk about it being a rebuilding situation, but they, this year, is bringing back almost 78% of their scoring from last year. As Tyler Harris cashes in at the other end.
You know, in talking to Jeff Bauer in practice today, he said, you know what's really important for me? He said, this group of guys that I have, he said, they've never really won. He said, and I just want them to have a good college experience in terms of playing this game, as you see Lewis come off the screen and knock down the open jump shot. And that was really important to him. And he doesn't have to think that way. You know, he said, it's important. He said, we're not going to win a ton of games, but we're going to scrap. We're going to fight. They're picked to finish middle of the conference. He said, I want to give this group of guys that I've dedicated myself to a good college playing experience.
Wednesday, 26 fighters have already been eliminated. Now there's only 2 episodes left before the live finale in Vegas. Who will be the last male finalist? In a season of surprise endings, this is the most shocking. The Ultimate Fighter, all new Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1. That timeout was called by Providence. And as Ed Cooley brought his team over after that made shot by Siobhan Lewis, I could read his lips. First thing he said to his team as they came over was, how did he get that open? And you're not coaching right now for the 40-point game here with 12 minutes to go. You're coaching for what's coming up down the line when you're trying to play a 2-3 zone against somebody else.
Well, you're coaching the game itself, and that's what good teams are able to do. That's what good coaches are able to do, that regardless of time, regardless of the score, that you lock in and you do things the right way. And that timeout was to make sure his guys don't relax and don't, you know, give in to the score and start to not have the same intensity that they brought the first half.
Anton was fading away. How about that hustle for the rebound? Bancroft kept it alive, but back the other way now come the Red Foxes. There's Lewis. Got another good look, but couldn't get it to fall. Anton in transition following his own shot. And Fortune with the look for Bancroft. They weren't quite on the same page. Look at a timeout now to be able to look it over before they take the basketball back. Sitting on top by 40 here at home. (72-32). Providence up big here at home with just over 11 minutes left to go in this one. They joined us late. Well, you missed the competitive part of the game. Happened over the first several minutes, and then a 38-2 run basically ended all doubt. That's Lewis on the run, and he got himself some contact on the way in, a foul call on Batts.
It's good to see Lewis start to be more aggressive. You know, at first he was kind of going through the motions. Credit Providence for totally taking him out of it. But in the second half, he's really picked it up in terms of his aggressiveness and hunting for shots.
Missing on the first is Lewis. Third-team All-MAC player last year. Preseason second team this year. 4 career games with 25-plus points, including the other night at St. Joe's. He had 26 points, 5 boards, and 3 assists in that loss to Phil Martelli's team.
He can score the basketball. You know, he's the type of player that can really get on a roll. Providence just is really taking him out of everything.
Oh, you're 6'9", and you can hit that shot. You're a really dangerous man.
Now, and he's, you know, that's why he was voted, you know, one of the Big East most improved players, because he's expanded his game. You know, he can go inside, he can step out, he can face. That's the kind of guy that's really worked for everything he's got.
18 points for Bats in this one. Bowie leaving it inside. That shot kind of tickled the rim and fell away for Trug. Providence, as we mentioned, playing their first 4 games right here before going to the Paradise Jam. Taking full advantage of this home court advantage they have in non-conference games. First 2 are tight. This one is not.
You've noticed Providence, they haven't, you know, let off the pedal in terms of their focus, in terms of them executing on the offensive end. Usually when the scores get like this, guys just start to come down and jack up shots. You see them executing. You see them running their offenses. You see them trying to look for specific things, and that's a sign of progress. You know, and once they get into conference play, they're going to have that same kind of focus if they want to do as well as I know Ed Cooley wants these guys to do.
That's going for 20 points on the afternoon. And there it is. Back in is Khalid Hart. One of the offensive bright spots for this Marist team as Isaiah Morton takes a seat. Providence came into the game at 86% for the year, and they're 13 for 13 at the line here this afternoon. Bowie found a seam in the zone and found the loose ball.
I tell you, there are not many times on any level, college, NBA, high school, that you have 3 guys with 20 or more points. And Providence, they're teetering on that right now.
Curry got a long 3.
Next one, go.
It's a good look back outside. Inside out, I should say. Now Lewis hit that once, not the second time. And Cotton. Oh, goodness. Oh, my. Wow. Unbelievable.
Just a totally athletic one-on-one move. And he set this move up right around the hash mark right here. You see him blowing out. He's looking to his left, knowing he wants to come back right the entire time. That was just one heck of a one-on-one play. You can work on that all you want. You can practice it. That's just a knack for scoring the basketball.
You got to put the right English on the ball, too, as it hits the board the whole bit.
But take into consideration how small he is. He got bumped by a guy 4 inches taller, 30 pounds heavier, and it didn't seem to faze him. He made the adjustment and put the right kind of English on it as it came off the glass.
And he comes down with another rebound. Moving it back behind. They find a wide open Fortune. You get the impression the Friars could name the score they want to name. Trug inside, used the left hand, couldn't get it to fall. They're still running plays.
They really are. And credit Cooley for not allowing these guys to turn this into just a street ball game. You know, they're executing, they're running sets, they're trying to be as precise as possible.
Bryce Cotton putting on a show for the home crowd. Ed Cooley's got to be a lot happier with what he's seeing here this afternoon. Now, from what you've just seen, the DirecTV game summary, that score may not surprise you. Bryce Cotton, huge day. Kadeem Batts has joined him with 20 points and 8 boards, and just about everything the Friars have done today has been very good.
It's been all things Providence on both sides of the ball, offensively as well as defensively, and they brought intensity and they brought focus on the offensive end, and that's why you see this score that's continued to grow.
And Bryce Cotton, who's put up a couple of highlight film plays today himself, including a reverse jam and a ridiculous bank shot off the glass on an N1. Now at the free throw line, trying to expand this huge lead. They started to miss from the foul line tonight, 14 out of 14. There you go. That's a political science measure, not a math guy, but that is a 46-point lead, right?
Let me see. Yeah, you're right.
Curry missed everything. And Cotton will set him again. DeRocha couldn't quite get it, but count that. It's going to belong to Batts. I'm not sure he's the guy who tipped it, but it's his anyway.
He's going to get the credit for it. And what's good about it is you're still seeing the effort. You know, that time Batts could have faded back as DeRocha took the shot, but he crashed the boards hard. And when you do that, good things happen. And Marist can take some of the energy and attention to detail that Providence has brought to this game. They can borrow that themselves.
That's a pretty move by Khalid Hart. Playing in his first year as part of the program. It's a nice crossover. And maybe just a little bit too fancy.
Just a little too much.
Hatton inside, though, draws the contact, and he'll go to the free throw line. A little too fancy.
Well, you know, when you've played almost a flawless game, as Cotton has, coach will give you 1 or 2 mistakes.
You sure about that?
Yeah, he'll give him 1 or 2. Definitely not 3.
Doesn't look like he's giving a whole lot to anybody over there.
He's still working those sidelines, but that's why Providence has turned this program around under Ed Cooley. You know, he brings a workman's-like approach to the game. He pays attention to detail. You know, I spoke with him. He said, I'm so happy being here. This is where I want to be. And he has a good recruiting class coming in next year. They have a top 15 class coming in. I mean, he has this thing going in the right direction in a huge way.
Former MAC Coach of the Year, coincidentally, in his time at Fairfield. Basket away right now from a 50-point lead.
And when you look at the job that Providence has done today, they've done that with 3 really good ball players that aren't even on the floor. 1 due to injury and 2 due to suspensions.
Said it before, we'll say it again. If they get everybody back, especially Chris Dunn, healthy,
they're a problem.
Look out.
They're a major problem.
A lot of teams in the Big East that may not have been looking in this direction perhaps should start. That's incredible. That's incredible.
Big time. Big time. Whether he's going to the left, whether he's going to the right. Look for Ed Cooley to pull him down, give him a little bit of a blow. His work will probably be done for today. But this is just an excellent big-time one-on-one move Good steal that time by Fortune. Kicks it to Cotton. Cotton kicks out. Euro steps his way to a nice fadeaway going to his left.
The amazing thing about it is he never looked like he was out of control.
Never looked out of control, and for someone that plays at the pace that he plays, he never looks tired.
Tired or not, he's going to the bench for a little while. Perhaps for good. 28 points. And a career-high 11 assists for Bryce Cotton. If his day is done, that's a good day. The lead is 51. Under 5.5 minutes left to go in this one. Hard, a good look down toward the corner. Got his teammate the open look. Kentrell Brooks comes down with the rebound. That's going to be a foul call.
You know, if you look at this Marist ball club, they're going to be frustrated because the competitive nature in you doesn't want you to have a kind of performance like they've had tonight. But their objective as a ball club is not to play their best basketball right now. They want to take the experiences from these non-conference games to have them prepared for when they hit the MAC. And right now, they're picked to finish right around the middle, right around 5. So they've had some tough games. When you look at their schedule, 17 of the games that they are going to play this season are against teams that actually played in postseason play last year. So their strength of schedule is really strong. They will be okay when it comes to conference play if they don't let this time period break them mentally.
They have not finished the season in the top half of their conference since the 2006-07 season when they won the regular season championship in the MAC. A timeout call for here at the 5:07 mark. Tough road to hoe, no doubt about it, especially when you start with this many road games against this many good teams. They played against Elon on the 10th of this month at home. They don't play their next home game until December 6th against Manhattan. It's a 6-game trip, including that trip to the Virgin Islands. Tonight, don't miss Fox Sports Live as they bring you all the highlights from a full day of college football and basketball, the NBA and NHL. Plus all the news from around the world of sports. Fox Sports Live tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1. By the way, the band is pretty good here, too.
Oh, the band is great. I don't remember it being this good when I played here. I can tell you that. And I tell you what, the fans here are a lot nicer. When I was at Georgetown, we hated to come here and play. I mean, they would talk about your mother, your father. I mean, they'd just call you anything.
Well, of course they were talking about your father, but that's not the point.
This was a brutal place to play.
You don't think that Georgetown was wearing a little bit of a target, just a little bit?
We had a little bit of one, but this crowd has mellowed a little bit. You know, they've kind of, you know, downshifted a bit.
More comfortable seats here, too.
Oh, definitely.
Bancroft up on top, wanted the three, didn't get it. And a whistle on the rebound. Foul calls coming against Marist. And Kentrell Brooks. So Lee Goldsboro is going to go to the free throw line. Senior out of Newcastle, England. He's 2 for 2 from the line this year because everybody makes their free throws.
You jinxed him.
I did.
You did it on purpose.
I did it. That just blew 19 out of 19 for the day. 19 out of 20 is not bad.
I tell you about Goldsboro. When talking to Ed Cooley today at practice, he said with all the injuries we've had and suspensions we've had, Goldsboro's come in and done a huge job at just filling in, you know, playing multiple positions, just doing whatever we've needed.
That ball poked away along the inside by Bancroft. And taken right back again. That's Hart. Got it from 3.
Bancroft, that possession, tried to do just a little bit too much, I thought. Thought he should have given it up.
Hiroshia with a pretty pass underneath. Hafani hung on the rim long enough to wait for the rebound to come down right back to him.
Watch Harris right. Bank. A nice pass.
I got it.
He hung on the rim just a little bit too much. Got away with that one.
Yes, he did. Junior from Cameroon now goes to the line. He'll have a 2-shot foul. Played in a lot of games in each of the last 2 years. Not a lot of starting. He's a fan favorite here. And there's a hand for DeRocha, who comes out of the ball game. So with 4:04 left to go, true chance to rest everybody who's left right now. He's going to be playing here again on Monday. But Fawny had an opportunity. Couldn't quite hit on it. Sure, the crowd wants to see 100 points, right? That pretty much how it usually goes?
Yeah, it's for some reason, there's something about those 3 digits. When those 3 digits get up there, they go crazy.
A foul call, and it's going back the other way when we come back. 3:40 left to go, so the Friars can put another one in the win column. .340 left to go. Providence with a very comfortable lead. Time for our Land Rover player of the game. Guess who?
And was there any doubt? Bryce Cotton. And he got it going and got it going early for the Providence Friars. He got steals. He got out in transition. He really set the tone, not just offensively, but even though that's what we're looking at right now. He set the tone defensively as well. He is a load. He is a definite load in terms of trying to stop this little guy. He comes at you full throttle. He can score in a half court. He's good in transition, and he even got his teammates involved.
That's a career high in numbers of assists, and then kind of a couple ridiculous plays in the second half. His own personal highlight reel here today. And sitting next to Chris Dunn, who he hopes to be playing alongside of before the year is over.
He's saying, Chris, come on back, man. You know, I'm doing too much work out here. I got to bring it up. I got to shoot it.
Need you back. And for Marist, Hart has absolutely been the bright spot offensively. Drew the contact from Goldsboro. He's going to the line.
He's really been consistent. You know, he's been a calming factor for the most part for Marist. He's been the one guy in the half-court sets that they know that they can go to and try to generate a point. Right now he's got 15.
And he's also going home. He's a member of the U.S. Virgin Islands national team. And so they're headed right now to St. Thomas for the Paradise Jam. That'll be Ramsey checking into the ball game as Lawrence takes a seat. And again, an opportunity here for guys who don't play a whole lot of time. Oftentimes you see them get in the box score for 30 seconds, 45 seconds. This is a good solid 3-4 minutes.
It is, and the good thing about this is they're now being held to the exact same standard as the primary guys. And we're talking about the guys that are in there now for Providence. Coach Cooley's going to coach them just as hard and have the exact same demands.
Fawny got fouled by Ramsey, and he's going to go back to the free throw line.
When you look at Tyler Harris, he's so versatile. You know, you look at his length, he's 6'9", but he's putting the ball on the deck, he's setting guys up, and he single-handedly that time got Kafani that wide open shot.
He's got a tremendous skill set. The guy who's just a sophomore, but at 6'9", certainly can get a lot done. So
he's the one guy that, as I touched on earlier, that when his mind is right and he's locked in, he gives Providence that other guy out there that is a problem that in the scouting report that you got to deal with.
And you start to look top to bottom in the Big East in this new league, what we're going to end up seeing this year. Marquette is the favorite. They, of course, as we mentioned, really struggled to try to score the ball today at home against Ohio State and took a loss. And you've got some other teams out there that people have had an eye on coming up. Georgetown, Villanova, a couple of teams that you think you know what you have, but you're not really sure. This Providence team, you would assume it, and you know, don't go to bed on Creighton because they've got maybe the best player in America.
You know, it's interesting. You bring a team like Creighton to the Big East, you know, and you start to wonder, well, what does this ball club have? You bring in, arguably, like you just said, the best player in the country. You know, and the Big East, you're thinking, well, you lost Louisville or you lost some other teams. You're like, whoa. this league is really stacked. I mean, it's one of those conferences that every single night you have to bring your hard hat. You have to come and play.
It's going to be very interesting to see how this thing plays itself out. It's all so different as Hart hits again from the outside. He's having a good second half.
It's one of the few conferences where you can look at and could genuinely see 4 or 5 teams that could win it. You know, right now Marquette's picked one, but you know, the 4 teams under Marquette could very easily slide into that #1 spot.
Woodring, crowd wanted him very badly to get an opportunity. Who knows? He may get another. Just under 2 minutes left to go.
Oh, he'll get another look.
That was good position inside. And Tafani running through the lane. Nope, going back the other way. Foul call with the arm is offensive.
Yeah, nice move towards the middle, but he used his left arm to free up a little space for that jump hook. Excellent call, I thought, that time by Jeff Anderson, the official, on the baseline. He got it right.
And that's a breath of fresh air, by the way, this early in the season. We haven't had to talk about the officiating or about players adjusting to the new rules in this game at all.
Well, and as most people thought that after a few games, the players would make the adjustment. You know, the first game or so, there were a lot of whistles blown, but players adjust, coaches adjust.
A week ago today, I got more than my fair share of foul calls for the entire year in that Seton Hall Niagara game.
I tell you, I've got Seton Hall myself on Monday. Hopefully they've adjusted.
All with a loss today.
Tough one in Mercer, right?
Yep. In the only game they're playing outside of their tri-state area before New Year's. Ramsey will go to the free throw line now with 1:17 to go. Only thing left to decide the final score in this one. Providence, as we said, right back at it on Monday, right here against Vermont. And then they will head down to the Virgin Islands. Fortune's got range that basically is classified as the building. Bonnie had his pocket picked. Curry was in the middle of a little Harlem Globetrotters display of dribbling.
It was almost as though he was trying to get out of the way.
Well, he goes to the free throw line, a junior out of Brooklyn, New York. He was an 11-game starter last year, including some time at the point guard spot. That's his first free throw miss of the season. The Red Foxes will fall to 0-4. And as you pointed out, they'll hope that this early season experience against these tough teams is going to toughen them up for the MAC season.
Exactly. They're not going to see teams as tough and as competitive as this Providence ball club once their conference games start. Just keep their heads locked in and get ready for conference play.
Woodring. Let the crowd celebrate. And the bench.
You gotta love it. This team is there all excited. They're on the bench, they're cheering, they're clapping. The arena's going crazy. That's what college basketball is all about.
12 seconds to go. Fortune pulling it out. No reason to shoot the basketball again. You're taking care of the win, and you're taking care of getting the guy the basket you wanted to. Good day for the Providence Friars as they win it easily today. 93-48. That's now 29 in a row, non-conference wins at home. The all-time record is 56, but since the Big East was founded, this is a new school record. Ed Cooley, got to be a happy man today.
He is, you know, because they held their attention span for an entire 40 minutes, which was a problem their prior game against Brown. So you take from this attention to detail. They got back in the lab, which is the practice facility. They worked on some things. They came out tonight and executed from start to finish.
93-48 the final. We'll come back and wrap things up from here at the Dunk in Providence in just a moment. (93-48) the final, as Providence had a big run late in the first half and just coasted on home to an easy victory here this afternoon. And for the Friars, an opportunity now to shake a little bit of what happened to them on Wednesday off, get ready for their next game against Vermont. I got to imagine feeling pretty good about themselves again.
They have to be, and they did it on the defensive end, which was huge. You know, they kept their focus for an entire 40 minutes. Defensively, they got after it. Offensively, they executed. When the score grew, you didn't see them relax. They stayed locked in. They continued to execute. And if you're Ed Cooley, you have to be thoroughly pleased with your attention to detail in this ballgame.
And Bryce Cotton was just marvelous today. A guy who had struggled through a rough night on Wednesday. He bounced back in a huge way.
He was huge. And what you want your leader, you want your seniors to set the tone on offense as well as defense, and he did it. He got out early in transition. He got steals in the half-court offense. He set his team up. He got other guys involved. And it was just his night all the way through. But he's such a tough guard. You try to look at his body and you say, how in the heck can he get to some of his spots on the floor? But he's really crafty. He keeps his eyes up. He got his team involved. When they weren't the ones scoring, he said, you know what, fellas, just give it to me and I can find a way to get buckets any kind of way you need them.
Not many people can get it that kind of way, but that was one of the true highlight film plays of the afternoon for this Providence team. All right, again, I'm going to ask you, early in the Big East season, does this team become a factor as we move forward?
No doubt about it, especially when they get all their pieces. They have two guys that they've suspended that are going to play a vital role to this ball club. Once Chris Dunn comes back, he'll be their starting point guard, and then Cotton will move over to the two-guard position. So they have more quality depth that we haven't even gotten a chance to see tonight. And if they can keep their chemistry, if they can continue to play well together, and if Bats can stay out of foul trouble, they'll be in good shape.
What's it look like ahead for this Providence team? Well, we said Vermont on Monday on Fox Sports 1, and the Paradise Jam the 22nd through the 25th. The big one you circle here is how many of their pieces will they have in place in time for that December 1st meeting with #1 Kentucky?
And that's going to be huge. And from speaking with Coach earlier today, he said it was huge for them to try and get Chris Dunn back. He said if he's healthy enough to get in the fold, he thinks they have the chance to compete with anybody.
So big victory here today for this Providence team, and they got an opportunity to come back out and show their wares to the home crowd, setting a new record for non-conference home wins with their 29th in a row. Our final score tonight from here at the Dunk, the Friars 93, Marist Red Foxes 48. Big East basketball continues tonight when Princeton battles Butler and starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. For Ron Thompson and our entire Fox crew, I'm Scott Graham. Thanks for watching. Coming up next, it's UFC Tonight.